This is Tim on the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Knicks sports talk and entertainment. What a game yesterday. 106-100 against the LA Clippers, against the 45-23 LA Clippers. I haven't done a Knick video in a while just because I've been doing a lot of other things, but I just had to do one today, and also I had a subscriber said, do a Knick video. So you know what? We're going to do a Knick video right now. And we are going to debate quickly who should be starting for the New York Knicks at the point guard position during the playoffs. Is it should be Payton, or do we need to look at starting Derrick Rose? Now, of course, people are going to say, if you look back the pluses and minuses with the Knicks in reference to the players' performances, that Payton's had more plus games that Rose has had more plus games. And at one point, I think Payton was negative 99. I never followed that statistic. I never really liked those statistics because I feel you do other things on the court. I think that's just an interesting thing for sports writers and other people to talk about, because I think you can have a horrid game and then turn around in the fourth quarter and do something to contribute or do something to win the game, and it doesn't reflect in the plus minus stats. But you do have to take a look at how well Derrick Rose is playing. He is a former MVP, of course. He is playoff tested. He's the kind of guy that you really want to have the ball in his hands, especially the way he is playing lately. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Even yesterday, 32 minutes, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Great game. A contributing factor to the Knicks coming back and winning that game. I mean, you got to look at it that way. You really do. I mean, I think the Knicks were down by 10 to start the game. The only problem is with Payton and Rose is Payton's always going to be he's going to be a better D guy. He's going to be able to handle the perimeter defense a lot better than Rose. And just, he's also younger. He's more fluid on the defensive end. And you're going to sacrifice that with Rose because of I'm not saying he's advanced age, but you're going to sacrifice some on the defense. And Payton does at times know how to facilitate and move the offense. He does. He's played well during the regular season. At times. I should phrase it, at times. This whole team has, at times, played well. But going into that playoff push, which we're in right now with 4 games left in the season, I mean, you're really going to have to, ride the Rose train. You're going to have to go, to Derrickville, get on the 413 Rose Express over to MSG. And you're going to have to do that for these last 4 games this season. I am not a big proponent because people will be like, well, we need to rest him. Yeah, he should probably limit his minutes a little bit more, once we more lock up the playoff pitchers. But if you ever watched basketball, and I've watched basketball since '76, and anytime you rest a player for the playoffs, doesn't it always seem like in that first playoff game, they turn an ankle, pull a hammy, because of the fact that they were sitting on the bench for 2 weeks. So we have to keep Derrick fresh, but we also have to keep him involved in the offense. And I think I've already said who I think should start. It's going to be Derrick. You have to put Derrick, and you have to hope quickly comes back. You have to hope quickly comes back quickly. But Payton is still going to be a valuable asset on this team. He's going to be. He's going to play a valued role. And as much as people hate him, he's still a professional point guard. And I said it before the Rose trade, and I said it during the Rose trade. The Knicks had always been a quality point guard away from making a major playoff push. Now, you cannot put all that also on Quickly, because everyone was like, well, you got to start quickly, No. Quickly, and I've said this before, and we've seen it. Quickly's going to have nights where he's going to drop 27, and then the next night he's going to go 2 for 11. It just happens because he's a rookie. It just happens. It's just the way it is. But going into the playoffs, you 150,000% have to start Derrick Rose. I mean, you can literally start, and I always laugh because people are like, well, just start Payton for a couple of minutes and then bring Rose in. I don't think that matters. Rose is a professional. Derrick, even during his first stint with the Knicks, even though it ended poorly, still played well in spurts. And I think he understands Tibbs' philosophy, of course, going back to Chicago. I think he gets Tibbs, and I think Tibbs gets him, and I think he's the kind of guy that's going to get the most out of Derrick. But for the playoff push, we need him. We need him to excel. Derrick, that is. Now, because you look, we got what, 4 games left. We got the Lakers on Tuesday, got the Spurs on Thursday, got the Hornets on Saturday, and we got the Celtics on Sunday the 16th. That's not an easy stretch, man. That is not an easy stretch. And if you take a look at the playoff picture right now, I mean, we're 38-30. You get the Hawks at 37-31, at the Heat at 37-31. So right now, the Knicks have if you go by the playoff statistics, I always like to say I've never been a big fan of the analytics, but right now they're saying that the Knicks have a 64% chance of clinching the 4th spot, 18% chance of clinching the 5th spot, 16% chance of clinching the 6th spot, 2% and 1% in the 7th and 8th spot. We need to be in the top 5, top 4. I'd prefer to be in the top 4. There's really not much of a huge difference between the top 4 and the top 5, but I want to be in. I want the 4th spot. I want the team to go in with momentum. I want them to understand we're not going to get up to the Bucks. The Bucks are 43-24. So I think now again, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a big issue if we don't clinch the 4th spot. But as long as we, like I said, but I think for the psyche of the team, and this is a young team in some regards. In some regards, we have some veteran talent on this team. But we are a young enough team where I think it would give them more of a lift, we could say, if they clinch that 4th spot and wrap it up. Like I said, they can wrap it up fairly quickly. We've got to win one of these games. But like I said, if we're looking at the long-term longevity of a playoff run, you have to go with Derrick. Because even in the Phoenix game, he played 29 minutes. I think he was 17 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. I mean, he's been playing well, and I think that he has earned the opportunity to run this offense. You know what kills me? And I'm going to get off topic for a second. Nerlens Noel. I loved him. I loved him in Philadelphia. I didn't like him as a full-time player. I liked him as a defensive substitution. I watched him play. I watched him in Okafor and everything. Like I said, I'm a quasi-Sixers fan because, like I said, I went to games. I still go to games, but they're like maybe 40 minutes from the house. So I've been going to games like the last 9 years. So I watched these guys play. And when he got traded to Dallas and turned on that massive contract, I thought he was an idiot. But he is a good guy for this team because he doesn't take away from Randall or Bullock or Payton. Not Payton, on Barrett. He doesn't take away. He's there to do his job. He gives a workman-like effort. And I think that's what this team needs. And he to me, is the perfect dichotomy for the Knicks. He comes to play every night. He gives the effort that matches his talent. And he has the ability to help the team do things on the inside and do the little things that really helps the organization and helps players like Randall and Barrett. But like I said, with these 4 games, we got to see what happens. I think there's going to be, like I said, I'm excited for the playoffs. We haven't been in the playoffs in a bunch of years now. I'm pumped. I actually got my second COVID shot, so I'm going to try to go to a game. Hopefully I go to a playoff game. I should rephrase that. I don't care what the cost is. I'm going to go to a playoff game. I'm going to go. I'll stream it live. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to get in trouble with the NBA. But again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Knicks sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you can maybe subscribe. If you ring that bell, you know what that means? That'd be awesome.